I mean, oh my God. We're lucky to be alive. We're very lucky to be alive. So I've come back to where all of that stuff yesterday happened to tell the story of the time that I was hit by lightning. This is about 24 hours later, not quite 24 hours later, but my buddy Jeff and I, we were here at Crescent Moon Ranch. Spent most of our time across the creek over there, meditating. The better part of probably 2 or 3 hours. We got here around noon, swam in the creek for a little bit. As you can see, it's a beautiful background. You can see Cathedral Rock in the background. This is about the weather that we had yesterday. During monsoon season, the weather's pretty normal, or pretty predictable. You can see big storms building off that way. They were bigger storms yesterday, but nothing really threatening until about 3 p.m. At 3 p.m., huge storms started forming at Cathedral Rock, and most of the people who were here swimming ended up leaving because there was lightning striking down. The lightning wasn't hitting right here, but it was hitting all over the area. So Jeff and I even remarked that there better not be anybody up on Cathedral Rock, because with all that lightning striking down, it's going to be bad. But we had a 4 o'clock meditation planned, a float tank meditation. So, and Jeff was worried about the bike ride home. He was worried it might take a little bit longer to get to that float tank than what I usually allocate for time. So we were across the river there, decided to pack up our stuff at about 2:45, somewhere around there. And right as we packed up our stuff, that storm ended up hitting. You could see the rain starting to hit and fall down on Cathedral Rock, just pouring down. So maybe in hindsight, it wasn't a good idea to be screaming up at the clouds saying, "Bring it on, Zeus," but it wasn't necessarily a provocation of the gods so much as an invitation for rain, or at least that's what I was thinking anyway. But right as we got our backpacks on, we were again right across the street, or right across the creek there, needed to come back across to get to our bikes. And once we got our backpacks on, that's when it started dumping, absolutely pouring down rain, which was wonderful. It was beautiful. It felt incredible. Right before that, for about 15 minutes before that, we had actually gotten out of the creek because we were in the creek. Everybody left and there's lightning all over around us, so we realized we got to get out of the creek. So we went actually farther over to right about there, maybe 20 feet away from the creek, and where it felt a little safer. No trees immediately around us, no water conductors, so we felt a little safer. But then we realized to get to our bikes, we have to cross the creek. We had to run across here. So soon as I got in the water is when I realized that might have been a big mistake. This could be really bad, because only about halfway through that river did I realize that if lightning strikes anywhere in this creek within vicinity, the water is going to be a conductor, and we're in that water, and that's how people die. So rushed through, adrenaline kind of hit me, and I realized we got to get through this creek as quickly as possible. I ended up right where I am right now, standing on dry earth. Look back at Jeff, and Jeff is right about here with a stick. It's pouring down rain. You can barely see anything. So he's with a stick rushing across, trying to make sure he doesn't fall. That's when we should have been hit by lightning. That is not when we were hit by lightning. Make it across, and we're fine. Jeff's got his shoes in his hand, his backpack in his hand, a couple other things, his phone in his hand, and we're at that point, we need to get back to our bikes. We need to get under shelter. Even though we're ready for rain, it was pouring down rain. So Jeff didn't have his shoes on. Not a problem. He's a rough kind of guy. So he and I both kind of work our way up out this way. So from there, we were quick with it. I wouldn't say that we were necessarily running, but we were quickly working our way up through this path, up this way, onto this concrete paved area. And I remember getting kind of here where there's a bit of an opening in between the trees, the rain coming down all over, and it was kind of a Shawshank Redemption moment. I mean, standing here in the pouring down rain going, yeah, like first off, we had survived making it through the creek. We thought that was the dangerous part. But it was a celebration. It was a moment of ecstasy. You feel alive in situations like that, especially in the 21st century where everybody's got their cell phone in their pocket, worried about getting their hair wet, worried about whatever. I mean, very few times do we anymore stand in the rain and just go, this is what it's like to feel alive. But after an entire day of meditation, not worrying about life. Felt good. We were in an amazing place. I mean, right out here in this field, rain hitting all over this field. But at the same time, it was raining hard. So we realized we gotta go. So kind of start running this away. Continued across this field. You can see there's kind of some sticks and stuff on the ground. I was wearing tennis shoes at the time. I had intentionally brought my old shoes. And so I was not really worried about my feet. I did look over to Jeff, and Jeff's got his shoes in his hand, and he's not moving across this field quite so quickly. But right about here is when, or halfway across this field, is when he got a goat head in his foot, a little thorny seed in his foot. And he's still kind of limping and running as we're rushing across this field. But at that point he goes, I remember him looking and going, looking at his foot and going, crap, there's this goat head in my foot. And I kind of laughed at him and go, well, I came prepared for today. That's why I brought my bad shoes, which is actually how I got more screwed over than him. So I'm going to turn the camera real quick. This is where I was standing right before things happened. Jeff would have been right beside me here. I was right about here. And that shelter is where we were heading to. Our bikes were right over there. And so continued running basically across this field. And I'm going to turn around so you can see where I was at. The shelter is there. And that's where I woke up. I was maybe 10 feet in front of Jeff, and snap, everything. It's not even that things turned off. It's more that things turned on. I was all of a sudden right about here, laying on the ground next to that tree. And at first I didn't even remember I had it was very, very strange. The best I can describe is it was like waking up after a surgery. Everything was white. I looked around, I didn't know where I was. I did not know what had happened. I did know that I had been with Jeff. That's as much as I knew. So I was here laying on the ground, basically right here, laying on the ground, and I remember pointing back at Jeff and seeing him and making eye contact, and just that look of terror in both of our eyes. And I didn't know what had happened. After going through it again with Jeff and I spent the evening yesterday kind of retelling and reliving the story and going over what actually happened. So I wake up disoriented. I couldn't tell what was going on or anything like that, but I remember pointing back at him, and he said something along the lines of, "We just got hit by lightning." And that's when I felt, all through my body, I could feel this charge. Like if you grab onto an electric fence, or if you've ever had a dog shot collar, my whole body was charged with that. You just feel it vibrating through me, especially my right foot. Obviously that was the foot that was on the ground. And up my leg, especially in my shin, up my leg, did not feel it in my torso at all, but up here, this side of my face, right here on my lip for some reason, I could feel really heavily, and out my ring finger on my right hand, I could actually feel it all up my arm into my ring finger. And so after Jeff says, "We just got hit by lightning," I end up looking at my wrist to see, is my wrist burned? Am I hurt? Like looking around my body, and I'm covered in dirt because soaking wet, had literally hit the ground. I don't have a recollection, but Jeff's memory, and it makes sense considering some of the injuries I got, Jeff's recollection is he hit the ground. He never blacked out from it. He was not as close to where the lightning actually struck, so he was cognizant during this entire event. I lost 3 seconds or so. He recalls me being lifted off the ground and landing in the dirt, basically right where I'm standing. I'll say more kind of like this, from that tree, and I'll get to this in a second. I just remember waking up here. I don't know the physics of how this works. I haven't done enough research on it. It could have been that I was mid-stride and just ended up jumping after being hit. I don't know, but I was airborne. Jeff looks up, sees me slam against the ground, and after being dazed for just a moment, looking back at him, we just got hit by lightning, and then we bolted, pun not intended, bolted to where we were headed, that restroom area. Once we got there, there was a family standing there underneath that shady area there, which is not too far away from our bikes. And we end up looking back to where I am now at this tree. And I've been here many, many times. That wasn't there until yesterday. So what had happened, and we realized this as we were standing over under that shady area, is this tree was the immediate conductor. If we had been the immediate conductor of that lightning, I would not be making this video. This would not have turned out a happy story by any means. Hindsight is kind of like when I got stung by a scorpion. I got a cool story from it, a really cool story from it, but really intensely, dangerously close to really, really bad tragedy. So you can see, I mean, where it was struck, or kind of how, and this happens kind of regularly. If a tree's hit by lightning, it kind of bolts off and blasts the tree bark off. So you can see all the tree bark all around here. This is just from yesterday. This was not like this yesterday. So this tree was the immediate conductor. Jeff would have been right about there. I would have been right about there. So about half the distance away, which is why I ended up taking the blunt force of it. Where I am right now, and then end up kind of not standing still, but looking down at my body and seeing, am I okay? Because I could still feel that charge of electricity. It was really intense for 10 seconds, I want to say, 10 to 15 seconds, like really intense through my whole body, but especially the places that I mentioned a little bit ago. And then we rushed as quickly as we could. I don't remember if we went around that barricade or around that barricade, but to get over to this shaded area right here. And once we ended up here, there was actually a family that was already here. You can see it's all protected here. Still pouring, absolutely pouring. Arizona monsoon, pouring down rain. We got here, there were probably 5 or 7 people, a family, who were wet themselves, but they had been standing under the shade taking videos of Cathedral Rock as the lightning was striking down there. I really can't put into words what it was like being here. I mean, we kept just repeating, we just got hit by lightning. We were hit by lightning. Are we okay? And I remember looking, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm okay. I think we're okay. I could still feel that charge, but I'm not burned. I kept feeling from my necklace. I wasn't wearing a shirt because I'd been swimming in the river. All I was wearing was running shorts, shoes, and my necklace and my watch. And I couldn't believe that my necklace hadn't been blown off. It was intense. So we're here. Rain is pouring down. That family kept asking, are you sure you guys are okay? And asking, where are you from? To which Jeff said, oh, we live here. We're tour guides here. And they laughed at us and go, you should know better. Which, mistakes were made. We're lucky that we made it through. We learned some lessons in the process. But we embraced, we hugged, and cried a little bit. It's really hard to put into words what it was actually like, what the experience was like, especially being here and realizing we're okay. And as the water was pouring down, I do remember stepping out. Actually, I fell down on the ground here. To be alive. I fell down here, didn't like trip, but I just laid on the ground. The rain pouring off the roof here. It's really hard to put into words some experiences in life, and that was one of them. But I do remember stepping back out. We were here for maybe 5 minutes after this, and looking back at that tree and seeing where that tree had been hit. We were here for about 5 minutes before Jeff goes, dude, we gotta go. And I said, yeah, we do gotta go, because we've only got an hour to get to our meditation, our float tank meditation. This family goes, yeah, meditation? Yeah, we scheduled it for, we gotta go. So still raining pretty hard. You can see we were probably here for 10 minutes or so. The rain kind of starts to clear out. We had our bikes locked up here, got our bikes, ended up biking back to the check-in booth at Crescent Moon Ranch, and telling the people there, it's crazy to even say, we just got hit by lightning. And the people working there go, do we need to call an ambulance? And they're like, no, I think we're good. But you can't put some things into words, especially to share that experience with somebody who is close to me, who now, I mean, this is, Jeff was going to play an important role in my life regardless. We've been good friends for a while. This was an intensely close experience. But I'm back here today. Wanted to tell you about it. We ended up biking up that hill afterwards, about halfway up the hill. It was raining, but most of the storm had cleared out. These monsoon storms, they come quick, they clear quickly. And so it's still raining, but we're biking up that hill. As most of the water cleared, we ended up creating that other video. This was probably, we were saying 10 minutes. It only happened 10 minutes ago. Realistically, we had left the area 10 minutes ago. So we'd probably been hit by lightning 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes prior to that video that I ended up posting yesterday, that maybe I'll have some clips on here. We were obviously charged from what had happened to us that day. Pun not intended again, but you could see the energy in us from that. I mean, we had just biked up the hill. We had just had this very near-death experience. And it was hard to put into words, but I'm glad we took the video there because it was visceral. And I'm here today kind of just to explore, to kind of go back and relive it. And honestly, I'm here today to get a little piece of bark from that tree. The tree being the immediate conductor of the lightning. And obviously what had happened is it hit that tree, went down into the ground. Everything was soaked out here, including us. And then the electricity came through the root system, out and into us because everything was soaking wet. But I'm here to get 2 pieces of tree bark from that tree because I have a good friend who lives here in Sedona. I'm actually going to go meet him right after this with a couple of pieces of that tree bark and have 2 necklaces made out of that tree bark. My mom actually suggested, she said, you need to get a tattoo, a tattoo to remember that, which I love you, Mom. The fact that you're suggesting I get a tattoo, I love you to death, and I loved you to death before this. I don't think I'm going to get a tattoo from it. I have my next tattoo planned on my thigh. It doesn't have to do with lightning, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get a little piece of lightning in there. I'll tell you more about that when it's when I get it done. But that's my story of the last time I got really close to dying, and hopefully the last time I'm ever hit by lightning. A little bit of a weird situation. My buddy Jeff, I'm Brandon. Jeff White,
we got
Brandon Cologne. We're probably gonna
lightning. Short story.
Yeah, we just got hit by lightning. It's a long story. Let's kind of show the pretty background of where we were when we got hit by lightning, and explain why we have bicycle helmets on. This was 10 minutes ago. We were right there, hanging out by the hanging out by the creek,
meditating,
hanging out when the storm rolled in, and we realized, I guess I don't want my phone to get wet.
So essentially,
Jeff, go ahead. Maybe it's better that you give yours version.
We're running back in the water. And just our immediate thing is, okay, we start realizing we're starting to dilly-dally a little bit. Lightning's coming down. We're in the creek. So we get up, run back to our vehicle. So we start running back because my feet hurt. I'm stepping in goat heads. If you guys aren't familiar with Arizona vegetation, they suck in your feet. So I'm just running, focusing on that. And next thing I know, I'm in the air. And I get thrown, man, like 5 feet. And then I look over and he's in the air. And he just looks at me. We look at each other, acknowledge, like, you're okay, I'm okay. Yeah. We're both okay. Let's get up, get the out of here. And then we ran.
Jeff has a little bit better information on this because picking stuff out of Jeff's feet.
Blacked out pretty much in your end.
I blacked out for, I mean, I call it 2 or 3 seconds, did not know where I was, what had happened. And then I realized I'm on the ground, I'm covered in dirt. By the way, I'm not naked, I'm wearing shorts right now. We've been by the creek. And so my buddy Jeff, he's okay, and he looked at me, and I think Jeff is the one who yelled, we just got hit by lightning.
I think for me, it was a more cognitive presence during the process, so you get hit. And it's an immediate blackout of all information in my head, right? Just kind of, but I'm right back. I can tell I haven't even finished rolling across the ground before I'm here again.
Picked up off the ground.
Right away. I'm picked up off the ground. Air, ready to go. Just like, you're good. You got hit by light. I know what happened. And it felt crazy. And just us being alive right now, we'll think about that later.
Well, there was a restroom, like a little restroom area, like, what was it, 25 yards away from us?
Yeah.
So we ran over to there.
and there was probably 5 or 10
Family,
people there,
like, two
family, who were
adults
like,
and,
"What are you
6
guys doing?"
teenagers.
And that's when we yelled, "We just got hit by
Screaming, giving each
lightning!"
other hugs, like, we're alive, let's fight a bear now. I
And
got all this electricity through my body.
Well, and yeah, the feeling,
right?
like I've,
It's like I want to mount
and
something right now.
this
Wait,
was
wait,
10
wait.
minutes ago. I can still feel it running through like my ring finger, up my arm. For some reason, I feel it in my lip, into here, and down the right side of my leg.
Good on my loins.
Jeff feels it in his loins.
In my loins.
So we were with that family for what, maybe 5-10 minutes, and they're like, "What the heck happened?"
How we just processed
And looking back on it, it hit a tree that was 5 feet away from us. I mean,
yeah, it just split that shit
and
right in half.
that
Split
tree
it.
had that spiral pattern down it, so it went into the ground. I mean, oh my, we're
Yeah,
lucky to
the
be
branch
alive.
gone.
We're
Yeah,
very
we
lucky to
just
be alive.
shattered that tree was in
Surprised
pieces.
that we
It was in
didn't.
pieces.
Yeah, surprised we didn't get burned.
No charring.
Surprised we didn't get hurt.
My phone works. Your phone works. Obviously. Like,
We were.
my muscles are getting really.
I'm actually not as dirty as I was because we were
No, we
on the
rinsed off.
ground, but it was pouring down rain.
rinsed off in the rain,
And
obviously,
we
yeah.
started this video with our bike helmets on. Here's the funny part: we're on our way to a meditation. We've had a 4 o'clock meditation scheduled, and
Oh
we have
shit!
to.
Yeah. What time is it now?
We're still good. We're good on our time, but
Okay.
So we needed to bike out of there, get up this hill, and only now has the storm kind of cleared out. So I think we can kind of show you a little bit better now that the rain has passed a little bit. Jeff, maybe we should take a picture.
What? Look at that lightning hair.
That's our first picture together. Holy sh! Okay, so that's what happens when you get hit by lightning with your best friend. You remember it for the rest of your life.